Hey guys, what's up? PSC Golden here, and welcome back. So, today I'm going to be doing something a little different, a little out of the ordinary, and today I'm just gonna tell a life story. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do this, and they either have it named like life story, you know, high school stories, blah blah blah, whatever. And as of now, I'm a freshman in high school, so I don't have that many stories, but I still have some pretty hilarious stories from the 8th and 7th grade, and maybe even 6th grade. So, since Halloween is coming around, this story is going to be about the time that me and my friends went out and attempted to do pumpkin smashing. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, it's basically like, uh, you go and you just pick pumpkins up and throw them up in the air, and when they hit the ground they just shatter, or not shatter but like explode. And oh my god, so you can do that, or like some people even like cut them in half and put them back on the porch and like take out a hammer, like whatever. You guys get the idea. So this story begins when I was sitting in my room, and I was going to a different school than the one that I was at before, and the one that I ended up going back to. But my best friend went there and his friend went there, which I kind of knew. He was like kind of a mutual friend. So we we decided, or they decided, to come over to my house and ask me if I wanted to have a sleepover with them. And I was like, yeah, sure, that would be awesome. So I don't really know this kid that well. Like, I hung out with him in 5th grade, and he kind of I don't know, like, I just didn't know him, and I ended up introducing him to my best friend, and they became friends. So anyways, I'm heading over to my friend's house, and with them, I'm just walking because it's not that far away, and it's around 7 o'clock, and while I'm walking, I'm thinking, oh shit, I forgot that my friend's brother is this kid named, or I'm not gonna say his name, but just this really big kid, and I was in 7th grade, and he was a freshman in high school, and when I was in 6th grade, he was in 8th grade, we went to the same school, and he was just kind of a butthole, so we messed with him all the time, me and my other friend, and we called him Mild Asian for some reason, and he just would get so pissed off about it. And we'd be like, "What's wrong, Mild Asian?" And he would like put us in headlocks and stuff and like punch us, and it sucked so bad. So he hated us, and I just remembered that we weren't at school when I came over to my friend's house, so I felt like I was probably going to get shot in the face by this kid. And luckily when I got there, he was like, "Hey, don't call me Mild Asian ever again, and we'll be fine. I won't do anything to you." So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. We're straight. Nothing's gonna go on. I don't have to worry about getting like the crap kicked out of me. So my friend's older brother, my friend, and my best friend used to all have sleepovers and like sneak out and just walk around basically their neighborhood at like midnight. And they, I don't know, like, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, they would walk around, but they wouldn't really do any harm. So they just kind of did it to like get out of the house, I guess, because they got bored. So they're pretty used to this, and I'm still kind of paranoid because this is the first time I had ever done anything like that. So um, I think it was me, my friend, my best friend, and his brother, and we snuck out. And like my friend, or my best friend, for some reason like had a rat in his room, like he just had it as a pet, and he tried to keep it as a pet, and it stunk up his whole entire house, just like crap, like a rodent. And his clothes always smell like crap. So when we were there, my friend and his brother, being a total asshole, were like, "You smell like shit. You need to take a shower right now. You were really starting to like make my nose hurt." So we ended up walking all the way over to my best friend's house for him to take a shower, and we just sat outside of his house at like frickin' 10 waiting for him. And finally he gets out, and right down the street from his house, 'cause like you can like come out of his house, and then at the end of his road is kind of like a main road, and if you walk down it probably like not even a quarter mile, there's a McDonald's. And this McDonald's had kind of a stupid setup because their cash register actually like blocked the view of their drink machine, so you could go in there and ask for a water cup, and they gave you like a massive cup, and you could just fill it up with whatever you wanted. So we went to McDonald's and did that, and by now when we get home it's like 11 maybe, and my friend is kind of like bored. He's just sitting there on his computer, and me and my other friend kind of still want to like go out and stuff. So we ended up, or my friend had this idea, or my friend's brother had this idea to go out and start smashing some pumpkins. And he had like a little, not like a really heavy duty pumpkin carving knife, but it was kind of like a little smaller than a butter knife, and it was a little sharper. And he took it out and was like, "We're gonna go pumpkin smashing." And I don't even know what, but I ended up getting out like this cleaver, and I was like, "Okay, let's go." And I ended up like just not taking it. I think that my friend actually took it from me and was like, "Don't go out with that. You're gonna get in trouble." So I didn't, and I'm so glad that I listened to him. And you'll kind of know why I started the story so far back, because there's some details and like behind me that are gonna fit into the actual story that we get to. So we actually end up getting out, and we're basically just walking around, and my friend, my best friend, is saying to the brother, because he's not scared of shit, like he'll do anything. And so we're like, "Hey, go pick up that pumpkin and just throw it up in the air and let it hit the ground." And he did it, and like he would just do that like the whole time down his street. And we like would turn, and this is kind of a weird type of street setup, but like when you're walking down his street, you can turn left into other streets, but they kind of make like a U, so you're basically just going in a circle. So we would go on like all these streets, and he would just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until finally we ended up crossing over to my friend's neighborhood, my best friend's neighborhood. And like I remember these people had like this spiked fence, like this metal spiked fence, and he hopped it, ran into their yard, and just threw the pumpkin up in the air, and it hit the spiked fence so hard, and it just exploded. And I remember how hilarious that was. And then we were also like walking around in the street behind that, and there was this girl that went to school with us, and she was kind of a bitch. So us being retarded, we just kind of thought that it would be funny to like ding dong ditch her, but like put a pumpkin on her doorstep when we ding dong ditched her, like almost like we were giving it to her. And my friend ding dong ditched her, and we were sitting there, or my friend's best friend, sorry, I don't want to mention any names because yeah, but so he ding dong ditched her, and me and my best friend are just sitting at the end of her driveway watching, and he saw a light turn on, so he just took off, and we were like, "Oh crap." So we followed him, and we're running, and all of us got clotheslined by this like wire hanging up in somebody's yard for some reason. And it was so funny because that kid, my friend's brother, ended up just getting frickin' clothesline like in the neck by this wire, and it was really funny. So we end up getting back to we end up like kind of like coming around by his house, and we go on this back street, and we were just doing our thing, or he was doing his thing. I didn't even do anything. I was like kind of scared to do anything, and so was my friend. So he was basically the only person doing all this, and so anyways, he's doing his thing, and we come up on this house, and it has like 20 just like really not small, but like plastic hollow pumpkins. And we thought that they were real until I picked it up and was like, damn, this is light. And I handed it to him, and he threw it up in the air, and it went really high. And our immediate thought was, holy crap, that's going to be so cool. So we waited for it to come down, and it made this pop noise, like really, really, really loud, to where it set off like car alarms around us, and it was so crazy. And he bolted, he ran, and threw the other two in their yard up in the air. So we're running, and we're trying to like avoid getting hit by these things that he threw behind him. And the next thing you know, you hear two big pops, like super loud pops go off, and we're like, oh my god. So at this point, we basically cleaned out like the whole neighborhood except for this one street. So we walk down it, not doing anything, and there's like kind of like this cul-de-sac, but there's not a house in the back of it, so it's just like this brick wall that if you hop it, you would be on like one of the busiest streets in my town or city. And he took a pumpkin and like threw it out at a car, and he threw it at like a semi truck, and it ended up coming through our neighborhood, or that neighborhood, looking for us. So at this point we're like, oh my god, we gotta go home, we're gonna get in such huge trouble. And we ended up hiding, or he ended up hiding, and he was like in this guy's yard, and this guy ended up coming out and was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm just playing hide and go seek. Is that okay if we play hide and go seek, sir? And the guy was like, no, get out of my yard. It's like 1 in the morning. So we're walking back up the street just on our way home, and there were like these two huge pumpkins, and they were both sitting on this hay bale, and my friend was like, you guys go grab that pumpkin. Or my friend's best friend, or my friend's brother was like, go grab that pumpkin, and go grab those two pumpkins and bring them back to me. So we bring them back to him, and he cuts them both in half and put, like, these weren't gutted and carved, and he put them back on their doorstep in half. And, oh my god, we're walking out of the street, and, like, his house is about a quarter mile away, and we're walking back, and I look behind us, and I see this, like, figure following us, and this is where the story actually gets pretty good and exciting. So I see this, like, silhouette of, like a muscular person following us, and I'm like, somebody's following us. And he's like, dude, it's okay, dude, you're fine, brah. So we're walking, and I'm like, dude, he's getting closer. So we turn onto the street, and, like, my friend is like, just hide. And we hide under this car, and I don't know how he actually ended up finding us, but he's all, hey, why are you hiding in my neighbor's goddamn car? And we come out, and my friend, he's like, how old are you? And my friend is like, I'm an 8th grader, these are, like, my two friends, they're also in, 7th grade, and, we were just, kind of messing around, and he was like, well, let me see, lift up your shirt. And he wanted to see if, like, a knife was in his waistband, and luckily it wasn't. And he was like, so did you guys cut my pumpkin in half? And we're like, no, we've been running from this kid with a knife, and we made up this whole story. And we were like, we were having a sleepover at this kid's house, and out of nowhere, he just kind of, like, pulled out a knife and started chasing us, and we were, like, running up and down the... It was such a bullshit story, and I don't even know how this guy believed it, or if he did. And, we basically just told him that, like, some kid ended up pulling, like, a knife on us, and we were running. And he was like, well, that motherfucker smashed my pumpkin. We gonna find him. And he sounded so dumb, and we were like, okay, will you help us? And we said that he had a massive cleaver, and I actually said that because that was like the first thing that came to my mind with a huge knife, because I had one earlier, and I just said he had a cleaver. And it, like, I don't know why I said that, because that would have screwed my friend over so bad. If he came walking down that street with a cleaver, he would have gotten, like, tackled and had the cops called on him. Like, I'm so glad that that kid just stayed home, because he would have gotten in so much trouble. It would have been unbelievable. And he's like, "Where do you guys live?" And we all point in different directions. And he's like, "Oh, I live up there. They're having a sleepover at my house now." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then we basically just told him that we were gonna look for the kid when we really weren't. And we ended up just fucking running. And we took the back road home because we didn't want him, like, running into us. And it took, like, 20 extra minutes. And we bolted. And oh my god, I can't even believe how stupid that was of us. And don't do this, guys. I do not condone anything that I just said in this video at all. It was totally retarded. And yeah, that was like the main story. Now, I'm just gonna say this for fun because this also happened at the beginning of the night. We went to this dollar store that doesn't have any sensors, any cameras, nothing. Like, you can steal from there so easily. And my friend's my friend's brother, like, while we were walking, just opened up some random person's mailbox and found a card to, like, someone's niece, and it was from out of state, and he just ripped the card open and found, like, a bunch of, like, little doll accessories and just threw them everywhere. And I thought that that was such a dick move to do to somebody because I don't even know. That was just messed up. And then we got there, and he ended up stealing, like, a toy knife and throwing it at the glass so hard that it just exploded, like the knife did. And then he also told us to push him in a shopping cart really hard, and we ended up running him into a curb. And you know, there's like medians in the parking lot. He basically flew into a bush and then like tumbled out of it onto a bunch of rocks. And I don't even know, guys. Don't do anything that I just mentioned at all in this whole entire story. And I thought that I would just share this because I think it's kind of a funny story, actually. Like, that was like the first time I ever did anything. So, yeah. So if you guys like this, stay tuned for more because I'm planning on doing a lot more. And, yeah, my name is PSC Golden, and I am out of here.